If you're just joining us, we are going through the psychosocial theory of human development that was put together by a man called Erik Erikson, who also came up or coined the phrase identity crisis after he realized that he was being raised by a stepdad. And he decided to even change his name in an effort to have the identity that he wanted to keep for himself. And so we are at the early adulthood stage of life, and just to help you catch up, we'll go through the different stages briefly just to bring you up to speed. So at the age of 0 to 1, should you have encountered a trauma, whether you are self-aware or not, then you might have found yourself being mistrustful. At the age of 1 to 3, should you have been exposed to a trauma either vicariously or it happened directly to you, you might be someone or a mom who has grown up with a feeling of shame and disassociation and things like that. And if you are exposed to trauma at the age of 3 to 6, then you probably have been coping through life with a sense of guilt. At the age of 6 to 12, in case you went through a trauma, you might be going through inferiority. And that would mean that you disqualify yourself and you have a sense of low esteem and you're not coping very, very well. At the age of adolescence, which is 12 to 18, so if trauma occurred to you, which limited your full, successful psychosocial development, you might find yourself at the extreme of experiencing role confusion, and which brings us now to the early adulthood crisis of intimacy versus isolation. So in case you relate with any of this, at least we are here learning together. What could have happened to me at that time, I'd like to figure it out, and I'd like to probably address it, deal with it, label it, or probably just assign meaning to it so that I can then understand it, which means that you're now standing over it. So in case you have fear of failing in a relationship, you might have suffered isolation, a trauma that set you up for isolation or an experience that was not positive for you, or you fear to lose your own identity and so you do not get into a relationship. You want to stay true to yourself and so you refuse to engage, or you have a deep feeling of isolation. My goodness, I cannot afford to be discovered. I don't think anyone will love me. And so what I'll do is I'll have the children and keep them by myself and raise them by myself and school them by myself, because I don't want that whole upheaval of the discovery that I might not be good enough. And as a mom, say you have experienced this trauma or something happened to you along the way till now. Is this beginning to make sense? Is this beginning to bring the picture together? Because if you experience maybe role confusion or inferiority, and here you are that God has entrusted you with other lives to raise, do you see how the carbon is not carboning? The carbon copy is not producing the imprint correctly because it's faulty. And that's the purpose of this Amazing Mom program, because we are looking to invite each mom from wherever you are. Just come, have a seat at the table, take the meal that you'd like to have with us, take away what you'd like to have from this experience and go away better. Or stay on and keep healing daily, yearly, monthly, and just saying, I'm doing this for me. So as we meet on the 15th of this month and every month of this year, I am committed to spending that hour with you every midweek Saturday. Let's just address the trauma. Let's heal it. Let's call it out. Let's label it. Let's assign meaning to that experience so that we don't live aloof. We don't live in limbo and just wondering, what am I about and what's going to happen next? And as we delve into the middle adulthood, which is the age of 40 to 60, if you're in that bracket, I hope that this is kind of like giving you a good, reliable history of your social psycho experience. Like maybe that's why I'm like this. Maybe that's why I can't talk to someone about my motherhood experience. And now I know what to do about it. This is your coach Mariah, and I'm so glad that you've taken the time to connect with me. Remember to like, share, heart this engagement and all the other videos as well, and tell a friend. Share in your circles that there's a global table where you just come and sit and be yourself and just tell your story without shame, without guilt, where you're invited to come as you are and definitely leave transformed.